Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. Today we're going to talk about XRP. If you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and also check out the Telegram channel, which you can find a link to in the description below. Let's go ahead and jump it. So I talk about XRP typically about once per quarter, okay, about once per quarter. And this asset is, it certainly has some interesting price history. And then given what happened back in late 2020 with the whole, with everything with the SEC that's still, sort of seeing effects in the price, it certainly had an interesting, last 6 months or so. But I just wanted to, to take a look at the chart, see where we are, where is XRP in the grand scheme of a theoretical lengthened cycle as we've discussed with Bitcoin. And what does that mean going forward? Okay, so first of all, again, if you look at Bitcoin, as we've discussed before, we are still below the 20-week moving average, and historically, that is not great for altcoins. Okay, now with relation, to XRP, you might say, well, at some point, at a during say like a capitulation event. That would be the time to buy altcoins, right? If if Bitcoin has a major capitulation event like it did in March, then historically speaking, that's when altcoins go crazy low, and then it does become a good time to buy when it's below the 20-week. But it's because we're moving sideways below the 20-week, which is what's causing, I think, some concern for the altcoin market right now. Okay, it's the fact that we're more or less moving sideways. If anything, you could call this a downtrend. I mean, I would certainly say it more closely resembles a downtrend than it does an uptrend, if we're just being completely honest, and we're going to be completely honest on this channel. Now, where does that put XRP? Well, if you go to the XRP USD valuation, I'll pull up our bull market support band. I mean, for altcoins, these things are not nearly as useful in my opinion. These moving averages like that we like to discuss. Here's the 50-week, the 100-week, and the 200-week SMA, which looks like we have some data for now. But regardless, the valuation of XRP never actually made it to the prior all-time high, and maybe this was because partially from the SEC news. Now, if you take a measured move from the current price to get to the prior all-time high, it would take around 436%. My guess is that XRP will make it to its prior all-time high this market cycle. But because I don't really talk about XRP that much, there's probably some people watching this channel that have never even heard of the idea of lengthened cycles. If the cycles really do lengthen, like I think, and like many of us think now, then I would not necessarily lose faith in XRP putting in a new all-time high, even if it doesn't do it in 2021. Okay, so even if this doesn't happen in 2021, it doesn't mean that over the next couple of years, it's not going to trend higher. Okay, so remember that. Keep that in mind, that just because it doesn't put a new all-time high in 2021 does not mean the cycle is over. If anything, we've discussed many times about how the cycles they tend to be getting longer each and every time. So when we look at this, we say, okay, well, XRP is really far away from the prior all-time high. If you go to the prior all-time high and take a measured move down to the local top that it just hit, it was down about 45% from it. Now, I'm going to look at two other charts for XRP, like with relation to Bitcoin and relationship to Ethereum. But with regards to the US dollar, to me, as I've said before, it seems like we have a lull in the market, and not just Bitcoin, in the altcoin market as well. When you have Bitcoin, going up and up and up for so long with little test of prior areas, arguably the last time we really spent any time going sideways was back over here at around $10,000. After that, it was mostly just straight up. And then we did sort of go sideways here at the local top. So when it's doing this, there's so much uncertainty because we didn't really spend a lot of time at a lot of these other valuations, we didn't really spend a lot of time at 20K, at 25K, at 30K, at 35K, at 40K. We're starting to spend more time there now, but I think a lot of it is because of this level of uncertainty. This is what's causing a lot of altcoins to sort of lose value. Okay. Now, some people may say, well, the dominance is dropping, right? The dominance is dropping over the last couple of days or over the last few days for Bitcoin. Remember though, I mean, this is still generally an uptrend at this point. I mean, we'll see if it breaks, but so far this is still generally an uptrend for the Bitcoin dominance. So when looking at XRP, my general thinking, and this more or less applies to most altcoins, is that we'll continue to play in the sandbox here for a while, and nothing crazy is likely to happen anytime soon. As I've said, I think that we need some consolidation for a while in the market. When we first noted that at Bitcoin's first close below the 20-week SMA, I said probably about 3 to 6 months is my guess, at least 3 to 6 months. And so far it's been about what, 2 months or so, maybe not quite 2 months. We're maybe approaching 2 months here in a few weeks, or in a week or two. But generally speaking, you can see this was a close below the 20-week on May 10th, and the next week was a close below the 20-week and the 21-week EMA, so the 20-week SMA and the 21-week EMA. If you look at XRP Ether, I mean, this, I really like Ethereum. I really like Ethereum, and I have way more Ethereum than any other crypto other than Bitcoin. Okay, so Bitcoin number 1, Ethereum number 2. I think the most concerning thing with XRP that it really needs to get worked out is the valuation of Ethereum has not been looking so hot. Okay, it really, to say the very least. Okay, I mean, since December of 2018, the valuation has bled. Sorry, let me fix that to the current levels. About 92%. Okay, this is somewhat concerning, right? My favorite chart for XRP is actually its Bitcoin valuation. Okay, now historically speaking, again, I'm not talking about fundamental analysis about XRP at the moment. Historically speaking, the best time to buy XRP is when the valuation is down here at about 10 to the minus 5. Okay, 10 to the minus 6, right? This is 0.00001. I think that's 10 to the minus 5. So, I can see it right here, 0.00001. So 10 to the minus 5 tends to be historically the time to buy XRP, and around 10 to the minus 4 is historically the time you want to take profits, right? At least think about it. Doesn't mean you have to go all out, but at least maybe take some profits. Now, we haven't really spent a ton of time there this cycle. I mean, most of it is spent in between. We did come back down here back in January through April. We briefly left it. If you see us go back into these levels by the end of the year, that could be a potential time, I would say, to consider it. Because not to say that it can't go below, but from say like a risk management standpoint, if it were to go to those levels, lower than it is today, if it were to drop say 40 or 50% against Bitcoin, then historically for XRP, that has been the best time to buy it. Now, the caveat with that is, well, you could say, well, it already went to those levels, right? So it doesn't have to go back there. And that's true, right? I mean, it doesn't have to go back down to these levels. But I think the point is, if you don't own XRP and you're sort of wondering, should you buy it? Well, it depends on what your risk level, what your risk tolerance is. I mean, if you sort of come up with a strategy where you say, okay, I will buy it if and only if it goes back to these levels. If it doesn't go back to those levels, then I'm not going to buy it, because at that point, I mean, even if it goes up, you could argue that even if it goes up, there still could be other altcoins outperforming it. I don't consider Ethereum an altcoin, but again, I mean, XRP is down 92% against Ethereum. I mean, again, don't take it up with me if you're offended by that. Take it up with the data. I don't control the data, but it's down 92% against Ethereum over the last, several years. So when it comes to XRP, I think, and by the way, I mean, you have to consider that it already went to these levels once. I don't know if it's going to go there again. So let's just clearly, I have no idea. My point is to say, well, if it does go back, it might present another timely opportunity, for the XRP valuation against Bitcoin. And if it ever, I mean, if it were to ever go back up to these levels up here, it'd be about a 400% move to get back to the, to some of the local tops that we've had before. Note that there were a couple times we went well above it back in May of 2017 and January of 2018. Anyways, that sort of wraps up our brief discussion on XRP. Hopefully it was enjoyable. If you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and also check out the premium list at intothecryptoverse.com. We also do have t-shirts at store.intothecryptoverse.com. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.